Hey everyone, so this is the 2020 Amazon Fire HD8 Plus. So this is the Plus version. This one has 32 gigabytes of storage and 3 gigabytes of RAM, and it is racking a MediaTek processor in it. So we have now had this device for about a year. I got this device on, it was either the day of or the day after it got released. So I've had this for about a year, and I've used it almost every day for that year. I use this device pretty much every single day. Um, so I mostly use it for YouTube and for very light internet browsing. Um, for me, that's really about it. And it's my YouTube studio. See down there. But over this past year, though, I have done other things such as gameplay, playing games on it here, and also using Google Sheets a little bit as well. And then I've actually also edited some videos uh, as well as some thumbnails on it. So this has been a fantastic device. It was, I want to say, like 110 bucks when I bought it. It goes on sale pretty much all the time now. And it is a super nice device for the price. It is 8 inches, of course, which to me is actually a very nice size because I mostly use this. I'm maybe weird, but I watch YouTube right before bed. I watch gaming videos on YouTube right before bed, and I fall asleep to that. With this case I have on it here, this side is pretty gross being white, but this is the National Geographic official Amazon case. Love this case. You can vote it. Like I said in my other videos on this case, these are like my favorite cases in the industry of tablets. They're just so nice. But along with the case here, yeah, I watch YouTube on this thing all the time. Again, usually right before going to bed, and then when I wake up, I'll sometimes grab this and watch it when I'm eating breakfast or doing whatever, watching YouTube on it. It has stereo speakers. There are two of them. They're not bad. They're not the loudest. So a lot of times I do have to turn up the volume almost all the way, if not all the way up, especially when I'm brushing my teeth or something like that. But they do sound pretty decent. They're just not the loudest. Far as internet browsing, we'll just show off a couple websites here. This thing is more than adequate. Again, it depends on what you're trying to do. I always say the best website to test tablets here is using bestbuy.com. So I'll show that off here. You guys can see just how slow or quick it is, depending on how you feel about how this goes. To me, it's again, it's adequate for about $100 device. So let me see. It takes a few moments to load, but if you do try to scroll down all the way, it kind of gives you a little bit of that where it takes a moment to actually load. But again, this is more than doable unless you're in like a internet speed race or something. Let's see. Let's just hit the Apple 10.9 inch there. iPad Air. So again, this to me is the worst website though. Again, this is like, it's the best website to test how fast things are on the internet, and test how well they do on hard to load websites. But it's also the worst because it's like the slowest thing to load. See up there, it's still loading. So we try to scroll down here. Stuff is just not going to be there. And wait a few seconds here, and it's going to start loading in, which means when you try to hit something like overview, sometimes you'll try to hit overview and you hit like specs or reviews or something like that. So you see on this website, it does take a bit to load. This actually seems to be taking a bit longer than normal. Whereas if we go to something like Pokemon's website, here, for some reason this website loads in. That's cool. Pokemon Unite looks really cool. Oh, you can actually get it now, huh? In the US, nice. It loads in on the non-desktop website. It loads in on the mobile website. But see, it actually loads in pretty quick here. This is how most websites, I would say 90% of the websites I've ever tried to go on this have loaded in about what this loads in. Which is to say, it loads in pretty quick. I mean, if we go to like Walmart, see, this will load in quicker than what Best Buy did. So Best Buy is just a weird website. Just loads in slow unless you have a pretty decent tablet. Notice that even on like my Samsung Tab A7, it loads in a little quicker than what this does, but it still loads in slower than what you might expect a couple $100 tablet to load in. But again, just that one website there. Of course, you can do, email, like any other tablet here. You can put in whatever email you have. Basically, I have Gmail hooked up to there. And if you want to, you can actually get the actual Gmail app as well if you wanted to. We've done games. I've shown off games in the past. You can do Call of Duty, BitLife, of course. Asphalt 8 actually works pretty well. Actually works rather well. Roblox works right on here, depending on what game you're trying to play in Roblox. The open world games, you can play them in the lowest settings, but even then they're a little bit but again, 90% of the games work just fine. Same with Call of Duty Mobile here. Just keep it in, I think it's either low or medium graphics. Works just fine, no issues. You can hook this thing up to Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. You can hook this thing up to Bluetooth controllers, such as the Xbox One controller, which I've used before, which works with Call of Duty there. Do learning apps like Duolingo. Again, I played Pokemon's thing on here. That again gets a little bit, like, just noticeable amount of lagginess, but not enough to, at least not enough for me to annoy me, to where it's still playable. I've had Chronometer on here, which is basically like to me, it's a better version of MyFitnessPal. If you guys track your macros and whatnot of your health, Chronometer is the best thing, and it's free, and it is awesome. You can get Google Play Store on here. I probably should mention this like in the beginning of this video. You can get the Google Play Store. It comes with Apple Store. I don't know why I said Apple. It comes with Amazon's App Store here, which, and even on their own website, it says something like for the new 2021s, Google Play Store is not available. It is. You go to my YouTube channel here. I'll show you guys how to do it step by step, or just Google it. It takes 5-10 minutes. It's super simple and works just fine. But now, with that said, though, there are some apps that are missing, again, which is kind of weird. Let's see, yeah, so like Pokemon Masters, not on here. Basically, every other Pokemon thing is on here, but not that one game. OfferUp's not on here. Again, 95% of things I've ever looked up on this Google Play Store is on here. Then too, some things like Netflix, I believe Netflix, I want to say Disney Plus, are missing on Google Play Store if you get it on Amazon apps or Amazon tablets. But if you go to the Amazon App Store there, you can actually find it. So a lot of stuff that's missing on Play Store is going to be on the apps, Amazon's App Store, and vice versa. So don't let people say, oh, you cannot get the Google Play Store on this, deter you from getting one, because you can. I have it right there. It's super easy to do. Again, it takes 10 minutes. But now, over the last year or so, I don't think this has slowed down at all. I have a decent amount of apps on here. You can see starting from here down are all added apps. I don't experience any slowdowns or anything like that unless my internet's being weird. One thing to note, though, is, which is actually a battery saver on these tablets, is when you first open it, I might not do it now because I have it plugged in, but when you first open it up, if it has not been on for a little while, it'll take it a moment or two for Wi-Fi to reconnect, because it actually turns off your Wi-Fi, and again, that is to help save your battery when you're not using the device, which is a pretty cool thing. But it'll take you a few seconds for it to actually reconnect for you. So if you try to get onto something right away, like again within a few seconds, it'll probably tell you you have no internet access. That's just because it turned off Wi-Fi when you're not using it for a while, the device for a while. But again, no slowdowns whatsoever in this last year that I know of. The speakers still sound the same. I think I might have one scratch on here somewhere. I want to say there's like one scratch on here. Otherwise, it's been pretty well good. Again, I do have this case on it basically 24/7. So then that helps protect it too. And this is a $35 case. Otherwise, I think they're like $30 for the non-National Geographic ones. It does flip around pretty quick. And with the 3 gigabytes of RAM, you can actually have multiple apps open at the same time. But you just have to switch between them. But you cannot have one app down here and one app up here. It's an 8-inch display. It just does not allow it. If you want that, you can get the new 2021 HD10s. Those do allow it. And if you're going to do that, I would also recommend getting the Plus version that gives you even more RAM. This, of course, gives you notifications. All your good stuff up here. It does have Dolby Atmos on it as well. Of course, you do have Amazon A if you want to use her. See right there, and she works just fine. You can control all your home stuff through her on here as well. For a bit over $100 device, I love this device. Yeah, I use mine virtually every day, mostly for YouTube and, like I said, light browsing. But you can do games. You can basically do anything you can do on an iPad on here. It's just not as quick as the iPad's going to be. And then, of course, on iPad Pro, you can do more fancy-dancy stuff. But for normal usage, this thing is fantastic. I said this white cover here has gotten dirty because you flip it around and it's on the back and you put it down and it gets gross. I don't know why they chose white when every other bit of this thing is black or dark gray, but you know. Yeah, I mean, really the only, if you want to call it, issue I've had, which is some of you know going into this device, is it is slower than other devices, but it's also a third of what the base iPad cost you. So about $100 or more cheaper than what the A7 from Samsung cost you. So I would recommend this device after having it for a year or so now. You know what you guys are getting. It is a fantastic device. For normal tablet usage, it is a fantastic device. I absolutely love it. Just highly recommend getting the Google Play Store. That way you can get way more apps than what is on their own app store, because that's just missing a whole bunch of stuff. Alright guys, thank you all very much for watching. As always, I do appreciate it. I hope you all have a good one. See you guys next time. Goodbye.